I was born in St. John's, Newfoundland. I spent most of my life there. I moved with my family to England in the late 90s, and I went to school in a place called Barnard Castle. I then returned to St. John's and went to school at Memorial University of Newfoundland, where I studied ocean naval architectural engineering.
I first met Richard when he was an undergraduate student. He was in his first year of the engineering program at Memorial, and I was teaching him in a course, and he wasn't happy with his performance in a midterm exam, and so he came to see me about that. And we spent perhaps an hour and a half or maybe even 2 hours. The meeting about the exam was, short, and the rest of the time he was curious about what was going on in the lab. He was just an interested, inquisitive young person who, I guess that's what strikes me about him, ever since, is that's kind of the way I see Richard. I was dean and had the privilege and pleasure, I guess, to give him the Dean's Award when he graduated. So he really did contribute significantly to student life when he was a student at Memorial.
Richard started with Technique Canada back in 2005. He had a very high intelligence, a very excellent work ethic, and a tenacity, even right out of school. He had a clear ambition that was very visible in almost every daily undertaking with him.
I started in Technique in 2005 in St. John's, doing dynamic analysis of flexible pipes. After a couple of years there, I was given the opportunity to come to Aberdeen and continue that work on a project that was based there.
He's put his hand up to go over and work in Aberdeen. He worked for a long-term Technique colleague of mine, and right away, that he volunteered to go do this international opportunity. B, he was stepping out of his comfort zone at that point in time, but the feedback on his performance was very high. So almost immediately he stood out within the company.
I first met Richard in 2007. He was flexible design engineer based in Aberdeen on the project where I was project manager. Towards the end of the project, he approached me and asked, could he get some operational experience and go offshore and see the benefit of his engineering design come to fruition in an operational environment. We're very pleased to let that happen, and Richard went offshore and done a fantastic job as part of the installation campaign.
You take a look at his resume and what he's done here, starting off on the White Rose project, the North Amethyst project, the gas injection project for Husky, and then Unit B&A in 2015. His career has really matched or mirrored the growth of the industry in Newfoundland. We're a lot more mature than what we were 10 years ago, and Richard just kind of represents that growth. For me, he's part of the new generation of professionals here in Newfoundland and Labrador that can function not because they're here and they're employed not because they're here in St. John's, but because they're good. During the spring of 2015, I attended a seminar that was put off by the group within what was then Technique that manages the vessels. And there were some changes going on in that group, and I really thought it was interesting, and I really thought I'd like to be part of it. So there was an internal job posting. I applied. I convinced my wife to make the move. I got the job, and in the June of 2015, I started here in Aberdeen.
Everybody who graduates from an engineering degree in the country graduates with a solid degree. There's lots of people who graduate with top marks or strong marks. What differentiates them, I think, is the soft skill side. With the broad leadership potential and self-awareness of how to develop that. He was demonstrating evidence of that in the program. He clearly built on that as a professional.
Richard has a very collaborative leadership style. He puts a lot of effort and focus on communication. That's really important for us with the type of job we do in TMOS. It's very important that we keep our stakeholders engaged and briefed on what is happening. Richard puts a lot of effort into doing that.
I'd like to describe my leadership style as collaborative and honest. I do feel that most of the time when alignment's not reached or a common goal is not achieved, it's a result of misunderstanding and not empathizing with the other party. Honesty is important because honesty builds trust. I think in the oil and gas business, you have to like the people. You need thousands of people to do anything really meaningful. And it's one of the jobs where you get to spend a lot of time with a lot of different people.
You know, he's someone that you can depend on, someone that you can trust. You know, he's very level-headed, very professional, very down-to-earth, all-around great guy. Richard, I've known you since 2005. I could not be happier that you were the recipient of the Rising Star Award. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Richard, on receiving this distinction and award. We're very proud of you at Memorial University and all you've done and all you've achieved. We look forward to you continuing to lead in our community and also to help ensure that future Richard Mandevilles come from Memorial and are as enthusiastic and passionate about what they do as you are.
Richard, on behalf of myself and TMOS, well done on a fantastic achievement, winning the NOIA Rising Star Award. We're so proud of you and so pleased to have you as part of the TMOS team. Well done, great job.
It sounds a little funny, but the flowline pipe structures that I did or played a part in 2009 for Husky's North Amethyst project are a piece of concrete infrastructure that's still out there on the Grand Banks, and I often think about that no matter where I am in the world, that a couple of 100 kilometers offshore of where I was born, these things are lying on the seabed. I've had lots of other parts to play in things, but the idea of this physical thing that I helped to create that adds value to everybody in my home province and country, it still makes me smile. I'm absolutely honored to receive NOIA's Rising Star Award. It was an honor to be nominated, and it was a real surprise to win. Thank you to everybody who had anything to do with granting me some of the opportunities that I've been lucky enough to receive over the years. I hope I've made the best of them. Thank you very much.